All right, everyone. Before we jump into the lecture on sleep, just want to finish up with brain structure stuff, the last couple of slides that we had from Monday. Again, we finished up talking about subcortical structures in the forebrain. So again, your forebrain is going to be, we can think about this as the evolutionarily newest portion of the brain, including your cortex, your limbic system, and then some of the basal ganglia structures. Remember your cortex working through the different lobes. Limbic system, this is structures that are involved in the processing of memory, emotion, life drives, and things along these lines. And then your basal ganglia, we think about that as mostly for smooth muscle movements and things along those lines. Okay. But then real quick, moving backwards in time, midbrain, there's a number of structures that would constitute the midbrain. The only thing that we're going to worry about kind of for our purposes, for the purposes of this class, is we'll talk a little bit about your reticular formation. Your reticular formation is just a collection of different structures and neurons within the heart of the midbrain. And basically, you can think about your reticular formation as primarily a relay center. So relaying information from your brain to other structures, particularly some sensory information, and then also the reticular formation being involved in some different types of arousal mechanisms, things like that. So sleep, sort of being awake and alert, attending to some things, doing some stuff with some movement reflexes, neurons in your reticular formation, and here your reticular activating system, RAS, I think that's what it is. So your reticular formation sending links out to other parts of the brain here. So when you think about midbrain, your reticular formation, just think about this as another relay system, and then also being involved in sleep, arousal, awake, activation, that type of thing. Okay. Last, going to finish up with the hindbrain. This, you can think about this, you'll often hear this talked about as like your lizard brain, your alligator brain, like the old school sort of original stuff. And a lot of what we're looking at here in the hindbrain are things that are just basically vegetative functions keeping you alive. So first structure we'll talk about here is your cerebellum. Cerebellum is portion of the brain that goes through and integrates a lot of different sensory information from outside the body. Again, some of that is going on in your cortex too. Cerebellum helps out. So the integration of some visual, auditory, vestibular, this is your sense of balance, and somatosensory information, this is touch, feel, that type of thing. What we generally think about cerebellum as being involved in is a lot of vestibular stuff. Your balance, you're able to walk up straight without falling over unless there's a reason to, because of activation of your cerebellum. If we took that out, sort of balance coordination and things like that would be severely impaired. So again, cerebellum going on, oops, there we go, down here. So I have your pons. Pons, another relay system here, again involved with sleep and arousal. So some different mechanisms or some different activities similar to your reticular formation. But again, pons taking information from your cortex to your cerebellum, some sleep and arousal stuff. Again, not too different, at least in those functions for your reticular formation. And then your medulla. Medulla down here, this is your sort of brainstem functioning, maintaining respiration, cardiovascular functioning. So you could lose most of all of this stuff, sort of damage. And if your medulla is still working, maintaining respiration and cardiovascular, so your heart will keep beating and things along those lines. When you hear about people who have had terrible accidents or brain trauma, who are sort of brain dead, or have lost or had damage in sort of the upper portions of the brain, if your medulla is still going, it's sort of running those basic life functions. So thinking about that as things going on here as kind of basic automatic processes that are going on in the background. Okay. So again, make sure you go through, read the lecture summary, make sure to go through, read the comprehension check slides, make sure that you got this under control. If you have any questions, make sure to go through and ask. All right, thanks, and I'll see you in 2 seconds when we jump into sleep.